Hey everyone, how you doing? Today we're going to be talking about how to lose weight and do that by not sprinting. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a moment. For those of you who are NAC warriors or are looking to become NAC warriors, I have a lot of things coming up this October 2022. Before the end of that, we're going to have a free webinar that I'm going to unleash a whole bunch of secrets to help you on your health and fitness journey. But before that, I'm pulling together a whole bunch of resources. I'm still building it up that you can get access to, early access to. I'm giving a huge discount to all of you who join. If you purchase that, then you will automatically become an NAC warrior. But if you already are, you can get access to this, and the link will be in the description below, but this is hit right here. So there you go. I hope you take advantage of it. So you want to lose weight, right? How many of you have thought to yourself, like, that's it? I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand being in my own skin. I need to start exercising and getting fit again, right? Start losing that weight. And you get this burst of renewed ambition, and you head out there and you go to Google and you type in best exercise program to lose weight, and you start scrolling through, and one program happens to catch your eye, and it reads something like burn fat and get fit in 60 days, right? And you think to yourself, that's the one I need. And I can almost guarantee that if this is you, either you weren't able to complete those 60 days, or a year later, you're back where you started, right? And again, you're thinking to yourself, nothing works for me. I'm doomed and gloomed to be unfit and unhealthy for the rest of my life. And then for some cycles, you get this, you're able to summon another burst of, let's say, renewed ambition to start the cycle all over again. I can admit, I can relate. I was actually in that cycle myself in the past. And although I'd love to in this video go into depth on how to end this cycle, I can give you a tip today. And that's what we're looking at. And in order to start to explain this tip, I like to go back to an experience I have had, which is when I get a good season in, or any season, just when I get good training in, and I head to do a marathon. I see this scenario all the time, like every single time. It never fails. Where I get to the start line, and it's really cool. This is like my favorite part, besides the finish line. The energy's high, people are excited, I'm excited, and the gun goes off. And if you've ever run a race before, the excitement can easily take over you, and then the next thing you know, you're running a quicker pace than you should ever be running, and I know that. So what I do is I reserve my energy and try to hone in that excitement as soon as that gun goes off. But without fail, at the start, I will always see people sprinting as if they're at the end of the race instead of the beginning. And about a mile in, I start seeing these same people either walking or they're slowing down a lot. And I really feel bad for these folks because they still have 12.1 more miles to go, and their race is going to be a really tough one. So a lot of you are out there and you're sprinting, yet you signed up for a half marathon. And what I mean by that is you're looking to get health and fit for a lifetime, but you're going out there and choosing these 60, 30, 90-day programs, and these are packaged just for that. So if you're picking a 60-day program, that's to make you fit in 60 days, not for a lifetime. And so I'm okay with these programs if you approach them with that mindset of this is just going to be a quick fix. But usually after that, there's no plan. And so people end up continuing that program, or they just give up and they fizzle out, and you're just back in that whole cycle again. And so the question is, what is the solution? Here's what I have to say. If you've already purchased a program, that's actually pretty good. I'm glad you did that, and I want to take advantage of it and not just throw them away. Even if you have like 5 of them, whatever, how many you've done, but this should be a way that you never have to buy another one going forward. But there's 6 steps that I like to take those programs through and transfigure them, transform them into a lifelong or marathon type of program instead of just a sprint. So here are the 6 steps. Are you ready? Step number 1, do the program. You bought it, use it. I just want you to change your mindset though when you do it. Like when you actually do this program, think of it is what it is. If it's a 60-day program, just know that you're going to get fit in 60 days and then probably 60 days or less if you stop because it's too hard to continue on, then that's it. You're not going to get more out of it. So don't expect it to be a lifelong journey with this program. It's a short-term journey. That's what they're designed for. So they're not bad. They're doing what they say. We're just trying to use them for the wrong training, I would say. And then as you're going through the program, I want you to start looking at the program from a like, a dislike. I want you to figure out what is it about the program that you do like and what is it about the program that you don't like. Because what we want to do in this first step is really understand ourselves. Like, what do we like about health and fitness and what don't we like about health and fitness? And more importantly, what would we like to do with health and fitness? So that's what this first step is all about. The second step is to categorize your eating lifestyle. So as you go through this program, I want you to think about the foods that you're eating. We're going to focus on the foods right now in this step. I want you to put them into 4 categories. The 4 categories are no change, new change, would like to change, and no way. And let me briefly explain each category in this step when you to categorize them. In the no change, these are things, the foods, recipes, habits that you were doing even before you started the program. There's no change there. And so when you're done the program, you're probably going to continue these because they were easy. They were already part of your life. Really cool stuff. Then the new change is things that you got excited about because you learned about the program, whether it be a food, recipe, or habit. And you're like, yeah, I would love to incorporate that. And so do that. Like there's no problems and you love it and you're just going to do it. So these are new things. And this is pretty cool category because this is where you're going to start getting your momentum, especially where we changed our mindset in step 1. Now we've got new tools, new habits that we're forming that are going to make us healthier in the future. You see what we're doing here? We're not like taking everything and throwing and just stopping the whole program. We're starting to figure out what works for us. Then there's the category would like to change. These are the foods, the recipes, and habits that you saw during the program that you enjoyed, but for some reason you're having a hard time incorporating them into your lifestyle. I don't know what that is. And typically in this category, it's the habits that you should start doing and foods that you should start removing. And you would love to, but you just don't have the willpower or you're just not ready for it or you just can't do it right now. What I want you to do is take that list of items and I want you to prioritize it in like, this is if I could accomplish any one of these, this would be the first one I'd want to accomplish. And then write them down in order. Then the last category is the no way category. The no way category is like foods you will not compromise on or habits you will not give up or take on. And you're just not going to convince yourself. Even though it's in the program, you're just not going to do it. That's okay. Here's what I want you to do with those. I still want you to list them out, but I want you to, there's no priority. I just want you to list them out, the habits or the foods that you don't want to change. For me, it's ice cream. When I go through a program, if I see something that violates the ice cream rule, boop, I'm keeping ice cream. I love ice cream. I'm not getting rid of it. It's just going to be part of my no way. I'm not breaking that rule. So that's step 2. So we got those 2 categories, right? We've got the would like to change and the no way. So in step 3, we're going to deal with those 2. The other 2 are pretty easy. We're already going to do them. With the would like to change category, I'd like you to take the first one on your list and I want you to go like from step A to step Z. How would you go if you could break that habit or food or whatever it is, removing that down into small steps, like baby steps, so small you don't even know that you've even taken a step. And I'll give you an example very soon. I want you to break it down into that step process. And step one is just to take action. And if that first step or the step that you're in is too hard, reduce it. Find some way to reduce it to make it negligible. And then once you've figured out that step and you're taking the action, step two is to adapt that. And what do I mean by adapting is I want you to get to the point where you can honestly say to yourself, this is just what I do. It's almost like brushing your teeth. It's something you just do and it just becomes part of your life. We take showers, it's just what we do. This is where you want to be with this step. Once you've reached that point, then you can move on to step three, which is to figure out, is this step, the step that you're on, does that complete the step-by-step process to incorporating a new habit? If so, then go to your next item on your would like to change list and start doing the same process over and over again. If you're in the middle of the steps or you're working towards, then just move to the next step in what you outlined and adjust that as you need to, because sometimes you need to take smaller steps than what you thought you could, or maybe you can take bigger steps. Who knows? That's all up to you. You got to design it to fit you. Here's an example. For those of you who love cream and sugar in your coffee, if you remove 1/8 a teaspoon, that's very small. If you could remove 1/8 a teaspoon of cream and sugar from your coffee than you typically would and normally would, then that would be your first step. And our goal is to go in, let's say our plan was to remove 1/8 of a teaspoon of cream and sugar each step of the process until we just can drink black coffee. That might be a no way for you, but if this was a would like to change, this is just an example. So you got your step-by-step. So step one is remove 1/8 a teaspoon, and then you keep going till your taste buds, or you don't even taste the difference anymore. It just becomes natural what you're drinking. Then you move to the next step, and you keep going until you get to the black coffee. You're just drinking black coffee. Then you would go to the next item in your list. Make sense? Great. All right. Then the no way list. This category, again, we're not going to necessarily remove. This is where I think a lot of people get in trouble, one of the points. And what you want to do is just you want to adjust it. You want to eat this category less than usual, or you want to do this habit less than normal, or you want to be doing this habit more than normal, or eating more of this than you normally would. And you want to control the portions. So this, to account for this no way group, that's really going to make a difference is if you just reduce or increase the frequency, depending if it's positive or negative habit or food that you're trying to change. And then you want to also adjust the proportions. Do you want to eat more of it or less of it? And just do that. That small change. Do not remove it. Just entice or enact a small portion of control over these, but not give them up completely. Like, there's no point in giving them up, because if you do, you're going to be resentful against the program that you're going up against. So that's step number 3. Now we've dealt with the food, we're going to move to the exercise in step number 4. What trips people up in exercise is that you don't end up adjusting for the life or season you're in. And what I mean by that is that some days you can, let's say the program that you had meant that you had to exercise for 30 minutes. Today you had a busy day, you don't have 30 minutes, you have only 5 minutes. I want you to exercise for 5 minutes. I know that sounds ridiculous, but at the end of the day, I just want you to do something. It's more about habits. All this stuff is about, if you want consistency, which is really the barrier between you and your health and fitness success, is consistency. And the failure to consistency is failure to build up habits. And so what we want to do is build up these habits. So I want you, even for 5 minutes, even if you don't have 5 minutes, let's say you only have enough time to get dressed as if you were going to work out, I want you to do that. I have another video and an blog and a podcast on the power of doing just something. You should go listen to that or watch it. And it's going to talk about that in more detail. But the other thing I want to mention is if you get bored with the program, just go out to YouTube and look up a program and just do that. And again, if you only have 5 minutes, do a random YouTube video just to mix it up because you're getting bored. Do 5 minutes, do 30 minutes, do yoga, just mix it up and do something. And if you don't have time to look it up, just go for a walk. I could go out right now just like this and go for a walk. I could be in a suit and maybe take off the suit jacket and go for the walk. And that's the point, is you just want to keep doing something in part 4. Step number 5, create rules. Rules are a great way. Look, when you go from doing a sprint, let's say you do the program and now you're transitioning to working on your habits of the would like to change list, and you're changing the proportions, you're not going all out sprint like you were. So you may naturally start gradually gaining more weight, let's say, or if you can't exercise as much, you may have to let's say you'll get a reduction in, let's say, fitness level. What you want to do is start creating rules, because we want to do this, like, let's say, this check. And I actually have 3 of them for me for weight. If I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I like to experiment, I like to explore and try different things. In order for me to understand if what I'm doing is right, let's say I want to try this program to see if I want to suggest it to others to use, I will go through and give them the pros and cons from my perspective, and then lay it out there for themselves as well. What I do is I have these 3 rules. The first one is my watch. I got to make sure that it fits at this rung or this little hole here. And if it starts getting snug, that might be a yellow flag. Also, my shirts. If I carry anywhere fat on my body, which I do, it's in my belly. And so when my shirts, when I put them on, if they feel a certain way and an uncomfortable feeling, and I know what that is right away, that yellow flag goes back up again. And then the third one is I actually weigh myself once a week, every Monday in the morning, same day every week at the same time. And I try to keep the same routine in the morning as possible. And I give myself a 5-pound deviation. So I don't want to lose too much weight, and I don't want to gain too much weight. I have a base weight that I'm at, and I allow myself 5 pounds on each way. If I start violating that 5 pounds, I go to step 6. If I on any of those 3 rules, I will go to step 6. If not, I continue doing what I'm doing to build new habits that are going to create a healthier lifestyle for me. Let's say that gets triggered. I'm moving on to step 6. Step 6 is to go back to sprinting, go back to that program. Because what we want to do is I don't know if you've ever watched races before. Have you ever seen somebody like run, sprint, run, like slow down, sprint, or they may walk, but for us it's going to be jog, sprint, and we're going to keep doing that till we end up in a jogging. We're slowly taking this program and changing it into a marathon type of program, where it then becomes a habit. Before, we were forcing ourselves to do it. Now we're changing it and changing ourselves to adapt to that program. And so what you may have to do is, once you violate one of those rules, or those rules are triggered, you want to go back to sprinting. Once you get back to base weight, then you go back to what you were doing, like jump back in where you left off before, and go and just keep on going. And you keep doing that until your would like to change list gets whittled down to a very small amount of task items. And what you'll see is, over time, even though you're sprinting, you should be doing less of it because you're healthier. And it shouldn't take you as long to go through the sprint because you're in a different spot than you were before. And if you keep doing that, this process, again, you're going to start seeing that this sprinting program that started off as a sprint, we're now changing it into a marathon type of lifestyle. And in the end, what you're going to end up seeing is that you are going to be able to stay consistent in your health and fitness journey. I hope these tips help you. All right, go try these out. Let me know how it goes for you. Leave a comment below. Hey, and if you're an NAC warrior, again, I'm almost done creating a webinar. It's going to be free, and it's going to be dropped at the end before the end of October 2022. Again, I'm also having like resources put in somewhere where you can access them. If you like them, you can get them at this link. Again, it will be in the description, and you can purchase that. And again, it's at a huge, huge, huge discount. Um, and once you get that, we'll give you a couple of things like get you set up with NAC Warriors, and if you're not already, and we'll start getting you on your journey to getting healthy and fit. I'm telling you, the stuff that I'm going to start unleashing to you all, I've been building for quite some time now, and putting it together. I cannot wait to share it with you. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Okay, so go to that link, go purchase that, and get registered with NSC Warriors. And I will see you out there. Have a good one.